Hello book friends, welcome back to our resident book friends. My name is Mel and I'm an avid reader, and today I wanted to do a 24-hour reading vlog. I have never done a 24-hour reading vlog. I have never timed my reading, so I thought it would be really fun to do that together because I have the next 4 days off my regular 9 to 5, which means so much time for reading, so much time to fit in brand new releases from April because there have been so many already. What we have scheduled is Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. This is the newest book from Lila Sage. It is the 4th book in the Rebel Blue Ranch series. It's a small town country romance. You have cowboys, you have angst, you have slow burn. It is incredible. I have just recently reread the other 3 books in the lead up to this release. I have purchased it on Kindle. I haven't had the opportunity to get into a bookshop to purchase this on the day it was released. This is going to be one of the main books that we read this vlog. Then I also have Fearless by Lauren Roberts. This is the last book in the Powerless trilogy, plus a novella. I have to admit, I've already started this. I'm about, I think on my Kindle, because I purchased it again. It was one of those instances where I could not get into the bookshop on the day that this was released. So I bought it on Kindle and started straight away. And I have to say I'm like 25 to 28% in and I'm not loving it. Hopefully by the end of this vlog you will see me change my mind about this book because I really want the end to wrap up really well. But at the moment I'm just feeling like we're kind of repeating the first book. I have decided though today this darling book will get me through a day. Okay, the hair has now gone up. We are picking up Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage and I am beyond excited. So let's cozy up and let's get into this. Okay, so we're into chapter 1. It's so nice to be back in this world. It's so nice to be back with these characters. Their humor and their personalities and just the people that surround them and the environments that surround them. Like absolutely obsessed. I'm really excited about the fact that this is Cam and Dusty's story because since like book 1, there has been an unknown between them. It's like a tension of past lovers and like past everything to each other. But we've never known why they've separated and why they haven't come back together. And when Dusty just says shit like, I love you until we're dust in the wind, Camille Ashwood. I can't even. If you've read the end of Lost and Lassoed, you would know where we're kind of starting in this book because Cam had a situation that happened. She's very much a planner. She's someone who, since Dusty, we know that she hasn't really put a lot of feeling into her relationships. She's always kept this barrier up to kind of protect herself, which makes us even more intrigued as to what happened between them. She's also a lawyer. It's going to be really interesting to see her kind of open up to Dusty because we've never seen this part of her before, but we know that Gus, who is the father of their child Riley, who they co-parent, has seen these parts of her, some of these parts of her, and Dusty is friends with the whole group. I hope that we kind of have flashbacks to their life when they were younger and their relationship when they were younger compared to now as they kind of rebuild that, and he's the person that she leans on for support during this very hard time. I just know that I'm not going to want to stop all day. Okay, we've just had a quick shower and an outfit change because it's getting quite hot here today. If you can hear my washing machine in the background, apologies. But we're getting to the flashbacks. Guys, it's happening and I'm so excited. I need to calm myself down a little bit. I'm going to start the timer again and we're going to keep going. Okay friends, little reading update. I'm just going to pause my timer. Currently at 1 hour and 30 minutes in. The washing machine is still going. I have switched to AirPods so that I can listen on audio, and we are up to chapter 13. This one's from Cam's perspective. Things are great. we're loving how things are going at the moment because of the impact and ripple effects of what happened to Cam and the situation that she was in. She now has to move, and the move causes her to be closer to Dusty, which we love. Dusty's mum is also just like fiddling in the background to try and get him to suck up the courage to basically ask Cam out once again. And the flashbacks of the two of them at high school are just, oh my god, they are pulling on my heartstrings. He is just obsessed with her and it is gorgeous, but we're also learning why she has so many emotional barriers around her, except Dusty is just like continuously pushing on that boundary and making her brick wall basically come down. New people to this series, you don't have to read the previous books at all. You could totally pick up this 4th book and they're all written as standalone. You get to see the characters from the previous books. You get to see Emmy and Brooks, you see Ada and Wes, and then you also see Teddy and Gus. I just love that they're all there. You love them in every single book, but if you have started from the beginning with Done and Dusted, you will love them just immensely once you get to this 4th book. So I'm gonna keep going with audiobooking. I've just made some coffee, so we're gonna have a coffee. I might even do like an immersive read of listening and Kindling at the same time. Let's keep reading. I'll keep you guys posted. Hello friends, as you can see we have changed up. Oh, Peach is leaving me. She'll be back, don't worry, she loves this sunny spot. We have changed up our reading location because A, I was starting to get sleepy on the couch, and B, this room is kind of like the spare room in my house, but it's also just like one of the sunniest rooms in the house. It's the brightest room. If I could change this room into a library room, I absolutely would. I would change from having a permanent single bed, king single, into fold out couch. I'd have bookshelves lining all of the walls, and this would be my dedicated reading room. That time has not come yet, but it will one day, I am certain. I do have plans to buy some Billy bookcases from IKEA, and sadly it costs like $160 to get them shipped to where I am because the closest IKEA for me is Canberra. I'll keep you posted as to when that happens. We're up to chapter 23. This is Cam's perspective again. If you see this thing dangling off the bottom, it's like a little Kindle bead situation. I'm really enjoying this timing actually. We're 3 hours and 36 minutes in. It's just been a mixture of physical sit down, just Kindle, and then also Kindle and audio. We're gonna get back into it. Just need to like mentally and emotionally pause for a minute because oh my god, just listened to and read some of their like high school love scene, and it's so heartbreaking because you know where they're kind of, you know what's coming and you don't want it to happen. And in the present we're kind of at a peak point where their relationship's going to build and like rebuild again. Oh my god, I need like an emotional and mental break for a moment because hello friends, we are checking in at the 5 hour and 25 minute mark. We're about 70% of the way through the book. I switched headphones because my AirPods needed charging, so I was listening for like the past hour or two on like my JBL noise cancelling headphones, which has been great. Things are getting spicy, things are getting good, they're getting interesting, and it's so good that you know everything's just about to come to a head and something's going to get messy and it's going to be heartbreaking. We've paused for a moment to get Peach some dinner and do a couple of little odd jobs. But I think I'm going to sit back down and listen to a couple more chapters before I have my dinner, because I just have a simple dinner. I just need to reheat some massaman curry that I made in the slow cooker earlier this week with some veggies. I think we're gonna have this finished tonight. This is me giving you full permission to watch me become very, very sad in the epilogue of this whole world. Here we go. Oh shit. Good morning, book friends, and happy Saturday. We did a little bit of reading last night of Fearless by Lauren Roberts. Just picking up the physical book here, but am reading on Kindle. This morning, Peach and I woke up really early and we haven't done any reading yet. I'm just about to kind of pick some up. Last night we got to 8 hours and 11 minutes. So we're getting close to halfway there. The fact that I did 8 hours of reading yesterday, like that's a full work day. Like if I got paid to read, guys, that would be the dream. I've just watched a short on Amy Rosem, who is an Instagrammer, booktuber, I think she's Scottish, saying that Fearless is very good. The last 150 pages are fantastic. I'm hoping and praying that that is what occurs for us today. I'm thinking I actually might go and do some book shopping. I'm gonna be cheeky, but that's just what my heart and soul is telling me to do today. Beth O'Leary has a new book out called Swept Away. Maybe like a fantasy as well, because as it starts to get cold, I start to want to read like fantasy, romantasy, mystery as well. I love a crime during winter. I'm not gonna audio this one as well as Kindle. I think I'm just gonna physically read and Kindle Fearless for now. We'll see how much reading we get done. Okay, we went book shopping today, let me tell you. We had to get a copy of Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage, the new Beth O'Leary, Summer in the City by Alex Astor, Lady of Darkness. So we are up to chapter 25. It's from Payton's perspective. That is about 35% of the way through. Things are still pretty slow, I would say, at this stage. It's just becoming a book that I'm reading for the sake of reading at this stage, and I know that it's supposed to get better. Like, this book has been based around the situation that happens at the end of book 2, and it totally flips Payton's world upside down, and also Kai's, I have to admit. And Kit, his brother, is very much involved and having to do something that he feels is right by the kingdom. Payton is now going through another set of trials, which she went through in the first book. She very much has different abilities this time round, but I don't know, it kind of feels like the stakes aren't as high in a way. I just don't know. Am I in love with it at this stage? No. Am I still hoping that things will improve? Yes. How much longer will I give it? I feel like it's a slippery slope with this book, because it's the third book in a series, and it's the final book in the series. So you know that it's got to be kick-ass, but where is it? I don't know. I'm not feeling it yet. We're at 9 hours now, so I'm just gonna keep on keeping on. I might do a couple more chapters and then switch off for the rest of the afternoon. Might even have a nap because I'm very yawny. Peach is here having a nap as well. Hello 24-hour reading friends. I thought I would give you an update because oh my god, we've been doing some serious audiobooking today. I'm up to 43% in Fearless. Something has just happened to Payton, which makes me think we're going to start ramping up a little bit, because things were still feeling a bit slow and I hadn't made it to the 50% mark yet. And I wanted to do a little bit of book journaling today, which is in another video that you can go and watch. We've managed to get up to 15 reading hours. I have been audiobooking The Snowy Mountains Cattleman by Alyssa Callan. This book is the second book in Snowy Mountain series by Alyssa Callan. I've read book 1 and book 3. These are all set in a small Australian country town. It's a country town that is like a bookish town. It has a book festival. All of these characters are all very young characters, like late 20s, early 30s. Really great. They're all romance plots. There's also always like some kind of mystery or like a little bit of a crime that's a soft crime. Like it's not too hectic. The main character, his name is Rowan, and he is a stonemason. He's a farmer as well, and he is the brother to Clancy, who's the main character in the first book. I've been listening to them on BorrowBox. So the reason I'm going back to number 2 now is because it wasn't available after I finished number 1 and number 3 was. So I read number 3. Didn't have too much of an impact. The characters that are getting together in this book were together in book 3, but I didn't really know anything about them. And I know that book number 4 is about Clancy's best friend, who is a really independent gal and reminds me a lot of Teddy Anderson out of the Rebel Blue Ranch series by Lila Sage. So if you have loved The Quartet by Lila Sage of Rebel Blue Ranch, I would highly recommend you give Alyssa Callan a go, because it's very similar. You've got 4 books here, you've got 4 books there. They all follow like siblings or a friend. Small town, all of them have very different tropes. We haven't had a single parent trope in the Alyssa Callan, and I don't think we will, but I loved that in Lila Sage. I loved Teddy and Gus's story. That is my favorite. I'll touch base with you guys again when I've got a few more hours in. Good evening, book friends. It has been a week. It is now Thursday, the 24th of April, the day before Anzac Day. And between the last time I spoke to you and now, we've had a laptop crash and die. We've nearly lost everything on it. We've bought a new laptop. We've been able to save everything, hopefully. We are 68% into Fearless. I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings in just a second. And there are absolutely so many times that I've been reading and not put on the clock. So we're currently at 19 hours and 34 minutes. With the amount I've been reading, I'm probably closer to the 24-hour mark, but for the sake of this little conversation and situation that we're doing right now, we still have 4.5 hours to go. I will say things have improved. We've had a really fantastic fight scene, which has kind of brought back the spark of like Lauren Roberts that I remember from book 1. We are progressing in the story now that we've hit that 50% mark, which, as I mentioned before, was what was recommended, is to get to the 50% and then things will start to move. This evening I just watched Rachel Catherine's new video where she read Fearless. She mentioned about like the romantic relationship between the 2 main characters that we know have very, very strong feelings for one another. And the fact that we know that they have those feelings, but the amount that it is reiterated over and over and over just makes it feel a little bit young adult, I guess. And these books are in the young adult category. I have to remember that. In a way, at this point, I'm thinking and feeling that if this book continues to be below the expectations that I have for it, my overall like pleasure and joy of the series and like rating of the series is kind of gonna come down a little bit. Controversial opinion, I guess. Maybe, just maybe, this is why I have a really strong preference for not reading books when they are in the peak of their hype, when they've just come out, you know, and they've had this huge anticipation and build up because it is the final book in a series. Because for me, I can be influenced by that, so my expectations of the book just continue to creep up and creep up and creep up. Whereas maybe if I had have left this book another month or 2 after its release, I may have felt differently about it. Right now, we are going to do some more reading. We're on night mode. I'm going to actually hit the timer this time. Tomorrow is a public holiday here in Australia, so I will be reading, I will be editing, I will be attempting to set up a new laptop. Hello book friends, I am determined to kick this reading challenge out of the park. We are currently at 22 hours and 30 minutes and I have just finished Fearless by Lauren Roberts. I have very mixed feelings about this third and final book in the series. I will share my full thoughts with you at the end, but to tell you that probably the last 30 to 40% of the Kindle book I skim read, that might be a bit of an indicator as to how I kind of felt things went even after the 50% mark. Because that kind of didn't scratch the itch that I was hoping for it to, I'm still feeling like a fantasy book. Like I want to sink my teeth into something that is just going to give me those I'm so obsessed with this book, I cannot put it down. I want to stop everything that I'm doing. I don't want to do any housework. I don't want to do any cooking. I just want to sit here and read. I'm also in preparation of I know that I have this coming week a few days off work. So I know that I have the time to read. I have the time to just totally sink into a new world and just spend some time with some new characters. So let's go find something new to read. Quicksilver it is. Hello book friends, we are 10 minutes until finish. I have knocked over a couple of hours of reading of Quicksilver by Callie Hart. It is fantastic. I'm an absolute addict. A couple of my book friends on Instagram messaged me as soon as I put up that this was the winner. They've said it's so addictive, you will get straight into it and it's the perfect choice for what you're looking for. So I'm going to finish off the last 10 minutes of this reading challenge. I've got my little snacks, I've got my tissues because I'm having sneezes all this afternoon. I am loving this book so far. Good morning book friends. It is a few days later, but in the last clip that you would have seen was me celebrating and cheering because we have finished our first 24-hour reading challenge, vlog, video, all of it. I'm so pleased and happy with the books that I read for this 24-hour reading challenge. I kind of wanted to give you a recap before I run out the door to finish editing this video while I have a coffee and sit in the park for a little while and do some reading. So let's chat about the two books that I completely finished and the two books that I started in this video. First up, Wild and Wrangled by Lila Sage. I am so sad. I'm still processing the fact that this world, this ranch, Rebel Blue Ranch in Wyoming, is over after these 4 books. This is certainly like a 6 out of 5 star series for me. If you have not caught on by now, I am obsessed with this series. This was the perfect finale. I feel like Cam and Dusty's story was exactly what we needed to wrap things up. I loved seeing Cam as a mum, but I also loved seeing their relationship grow and understanding Dusty a little bit more. The flashbacks were fantastic. I loved learning about them as young teenagers, but then also into their early 20s and kind of understanding where things went wrong. I think flashbacks are fantastic because they can really allow you to understand the growth of a character, especially in a romance novel. When you get flashbacks, it helps because romance novels go by so quickly. So you kind of need to pick up the pace a little bit to understand why the character is the way that they are now in the present day. And it just bridges that gap between the character growth and you to be able to still relate to them both when they were younger and when they're in present day and they're a bit older. Loved the secret tattoos. If you know, you know. And then the final scene, the epilogue was just perfect, connecting in with all of that. I really liked as well, because of Cam and Dusty's relationship, because it had spanned so many years, Dusty's ability to understand what Cam needed when she didn't realize she needed it herself. I think that's very relatable. Usually when someone's in a sense of distress or something really big and life-altering has happened, the individual who is in the center of that can't see the light through the trees. So it's really nice to have someone like Dusty who has known Cam from when she was young and still has a sense of understanding who she is now to help draw her out of that and kind of help her see the light again. Second book we finished was Fearless by Lauren Roberts. The last clip you probably saw of me talking about this book, I was uncertain as to how things were going to end and how it was going to go. I am very sad to say, in controversial opinion, that this book is actually like a 2 out of 5 stars for me. I'm really sad to say that I think this has decreased my overall pleasure and joy and love for the whole trilogy. Everything felt like it was being told to us instead of letting us be shown. So it kind of felt like the author was just throwing all of these things into the plot, which you could kind of see coming. It felt a little bit predictable to me. I also felt like, especially with the romance thread, we're being told over and over and over how much the two main characters love one another and want to be in each other's lives, and they can't bear to be without one another because of the circumstances that they're in. But there weren't a lot of instances where we were just shown that without them kind of verbalizing that. In some scenes, I did really get the ick with Peyton. I found her a really challenging main character, which in the other 2 books, I haven't felt that way. So now kind of coming to the 3rd book and not really connecting with the main character, that felt a little bit off for me. I can't say I've really experienced that in a very long time in a series where I actually don't feel connected to the main character anymore, and we're 3 books in. That was challenging as well. Some things I did enjoy were the fight scenes. I thought they were fantastic. There were a couple of reveals at the end which I think they were executed well. Were they still predictable to some extent? Yes. Another thing I enjoyed was seeing Peyton kind of take on the leadership role that was forced on her and handle it really well. But there was also a sense of, well, this was going to happen. This was kind of the climax that we were getting to. Sadly, the epilogue was also a bit, I don't know, everything just kind of wrapped up really quickly. Maybe I'll go back and reread this series. Maybe I'll go back and reread this book just to kind of try and feel differently about it. But at this stage, it was a no from me. So then I'd been listening to Alyssa Callan's Snowy Mountain Cattleman, which is the 2nd book in a quartet, which is very similar to the Lila Sage books. Alyssa Callan is Australian and that quartet is fantastic. I'm going to film a video this week about, like, if you like this book, you'll like this book. And the Lila Sage and Alyssa Callans are definitely going to be a feature in that. This one followed our main character, Rowan, who is the brother of Clancy in the 1st book. He meets Grace, who is there to do a renovation on a nearby property, and he's a stonemason, so he's there helping her renovate that. Their love story was really lovely. Then the other book that we started was Quicksilver by Callie Hart. I am already obsessed with this book. This book has given me everything that I wanted from Fearless. It just is scratching the itch that I was after. I already really like Cyrus, who is the main character. I'm up to chapter 10, so like I'm not heaps far in. I was probably about like chapter 6 when I finished the reading challenge. I now know Kingfisher. I've been introduced to Kingfisher, who is the main male character, and I'm really interested to know more about the silver pools and understand like the portals and the traveling and how he has that embedded into him, and like what that experience was, what happened, the war that's currently happening, how she's going to fit into everything because she has drawn this sword which was not supposed to happen because she thinks she's human, but is she actually human? So, you know, like all of those questions that you start getting really excited about and the anticipation. It's there for this book, which is chunky, but sadly it wasn't there for Fearless. So keen to keep reading this one. That wraps us up for our first 24-hour reading challenge. Thank you so much for watching along. If you have enjoyed the book vibes, be sure to like and subscribe. If you want to see more of these, let me know. I hope you have a lovely week, and I will see you in the next one very soon.